When I go to the office, it's just when I need to train people twice a month. As everybody here in the Philippines, I started in the BPO industry. Telesales, it was with Sprint and Nextel before, then moved on to JP Morgan Chase, the financial side of things, and stayed there for 5 years. And then I did the remote thing after that.
Hi, Christine.
Hey, good,
How's it going?
good. Thank you for asking. How about you?
I'm doing good. Nice to meet you. Where are you based in the Philippines?
Oh, I'm in Baguio City.
We have people from there. My assistant's from Baguio.
Oh,
It's a city of
nice.
pines, right?
Exactly.
I'm from Canada. We're like the country of pines. Do you have friends or family in Canada?
Yeah, I do actually, and hopefully planning to visit also soon. I really want to go to Banff, of course,
Okay. Where's your family?
up in Toronto.
Okay. Well, Banff is pretty far away from Toronto.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry to
So it
say.
takes a lot of planning to go there.
But listen, I can already tell just by talking to you, and I looked at your CV, but you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. It was unheard of when I started. We're
So
like,
how did
where
you get
did you
into it? Because you've been doing this for how many years now?
since 2013. So it's like
Okay, 12
12
years.
years. Yeah, because I was a quality assurance lead.
Yeah.
So I go to the office, it's just when I need to train people. I work mostly remote because I just listen to calls and all that. As everybody here in the Philippines, I started in the BPO industry. Telesales, it was with Sprint and Nextel before,
Hmm.
and then moved on to JP Morgan Chase, the financial side of things, and stayed there for 5 years. And
Okay.
then I did the remote thing after that.
You must have been very avant-garde. Like people must have looked at you and asked, "What are you doing?" Did people think
Mhm.
it was kind of a risky thing to do?
Exactly. I mean, I myself didn't want to leave the corporate world because
Yeah.
I didn't believe that you can work from home. But then my husband said, yeah, you can do it. I heard somebody doing it. And then a friend of ours referred me to this company who started this avant garde business of working from home. Took off from there. Coming from a corporate background and stayed there for about 8 or 7 years already. It really was a big risk, but I had a complicated pregnancy, so I really
Okay.
couldn't go to work. And commuting every day was tough, like 1 to 2 hours, just one way.
Yeah. Somebody told me during lunch that there's no real kind of childcare system in the Philippines. People just rely on their families pretty much.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it's pretty tough for working mothers.
We don't have any childcare. You really have to get a helper, and it's hard to get a helper. And our maternity leave is just a month. Two, if
That's
you're
better than the
lucky.
States. You know, the States, it's I've seen this
Well,
on like Facebook or Instagram. It's really shocking because their maternity leave is like 2 weeks. And so
wow,
you see the mothers, they are dropping off infants to
babies.
the daycare. And it just feels kind of, in Canada, we're lucky. You could do up to 18 months,
Wow.
a year and a half. Now, you don't get paid for all of that. If you do 18 months, it's 35% of your last year's pay, whatever you reported to the
Mhm.
government. And if you do 12 months, it's 55% pay.
But still, you get paid. I mean, you don't get fired.
Oh no, yeah. Sometimes the company, like my wife, we have two kids, but she was on mat
Mhm.
leave for at least half that time, and the companies legally have to hire you back.
It's
Yeah,
good
so
to
I
hear.
think from her perspective, it is nice. She's Filipino, by the way, but
Ah,
yeah, she's born here. Okay,
that's nice.
so you've been doing, and what does your husband do? You said he's the one that kind of supported you to
Yeah.
take the leap. Is he also a virtual assistant?
No, he's an IT engineer. So it works for Broadridge actually, but they do work from home as well since the pandemic.
Do you
But yeah,
find the competition? I know you have here one company for like over 7 years. Do you feel that recently when you're looking for work is more competitive out there for yourself?
for sure.
Yeah.
It's really competitive, especially with addition of AI and then other people who are really more up to date with technology.
But do you
Yeah.
find you were competing against other candidates then?
Yes, other younger candidates most specifically.
Yeah.
But for me, I think experience is still the best teacher. But yeah,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are also skill wise, have more opportunities
Yeah.
because of the time that they joined the market, I guess. Because back in my time, we didn't have all of these tools.
Well,
So
we
just
see a lot of
careful.
companies looking now. So even though you said there's a lot of demand for virtual jobs, the supply hopefully is keeping up. I also visited BPO, I think near Makati. I forgot, but I don't know. I think that's a tough environment to work in for a long term. And I think the younger people now, they also have less patience.
Yeah, the Gen Zs.
Yeah, yeah, the Gen Zs. Okay, I mean, I just have kind of a couple of questions for you for your work
Mhm.
experience. I guess so you've been really focused on customer support. Is that mostly in a
Yes.
e-commerce context?
Yeah, e-commerce, financial. Since the recent years, more of e-commerce and
Okay.
startups.
What would be the most difficult thing that you have to deal with on, say, a monthly basis or a weekly basis?
When I was with a health and beauty brand, most difficult things was getting the supplies in, especially because raw materials we had to get, of course, from China. And shipping and all that was one of the toughest that we need to tackle. And logistics and also shipping to customers. Because if there's a delay of the supplier, there's a delay of orders going out. Before that even happens, we send out communication that, hey, at this time it's going to take this amount of days to get to your order and all that, so preempting
Hmm.
the possible complaints was our best tool, using of course Klaviyo and other email tools that we had. But those, being in an e-commerce, one thing that we needed to tackle was supplies,
I see.
because we don't really manufacture it in the
Yeah, yeah, I
US.
know. That's not the business
So
model, right? It's all from China and is marketed in North America and then they sell
yeah,
it.
built in America, but of course, raw materials still come from other
Right.
countries. So
Now,
that's
you
what.
mentioned you worked at JP Morgan Chase. So that was,
Mhm.
I assume that was a voice account, right? You were mostly on the phone. And so would you
Yes.
say for e-commerce, you're mostly doing chat support then?
Yeah, I think chat support or email,
Hmm.
especially if there's communication that you need to formally send out to customers, or if there are instructions that you need to send to customers, or links that you need to send them, like tracking links. Most older customers don't really want to do email or chat, but they really want to go the traditional way of calling.
How do you manage your sort of schedule?
I guess with my age as well, like I'm satisfied getting 5, 6 hours of sleep. That's good enough for me. And I'm used to it. I
I think
mean,
you're making yourself sound older than you are, but I
no, I
yeah.
am. I mean, and I have kids. Like, I have 3 kids.
Hmm.
They're 17, 11, and 6.
But look, anyways, this was more of just a meet and greet. Whenever I can, I try to meet people that join our company. Just it's just a last sanity check. But
Mm-hmm.
I can tell obviously you have way more experience doing this than even me. So thank you so much for taking the interview process and being part of it. I'm sure Gray will just
Of
be in
course.
touch with the offer, and it's a really
Mm-hmm.
good client as well. They're very nice, easygoing, and compassionate people. I don't know if you find in all your times working. I think sometimes working for Canadian clients has that benefit because the business owners here,
Super.
yeah, tend to
Yeah.
just be a little bit more chill. That's either a
Yeah.
good thing or a bad thing, depending on who you ask. I was wondering if you have any questions for me.
In Treantly, do you have like a platform that you use to track your employees,
Oh,
or?
track time?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. I personally am very against those sort of things. You mean like time trackers?
Yeah, like time
No, no, no,
trackers.
no. So I hope that's good news. I don't believe in
Yeah.
it. To be honest, like we've dealt with issues around like moonlighting, ghosting, and all these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But every time we try to solve that problem, we realize that if we introduce something like time trackers, we would just be punishing people who don't do that. And
Mm-hmm.
so all we can do is just try to recruit better. And at the end of the day, like, you're going to look out for your family and you're going to look out for
Yeah.
yourself. And that's the total that like I would do the same thing. I think it's more about just finding the right
Correct balance.
opportunity and making sure that works
Mhm.
for you. But yeah, we don't do time
Exactly.
tracker. And also I just for my own team I don't. They're just their own salary. Most of the time I don't
Mm-hmm.
know where they are. Um I'm pretty sure they just put a rock on their keyboard and then they walked away. But that's okay. Cause I think real business owners understand that being there doing FaceTime is just about making consistent. So either way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you can work that out with the client to talk
Mm-hmm.
about what arrangement works for you. And I'm pretty sure they
Exactly.
only care about output and results.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you have the right work ethic, you don't really have a time. You don't need a time tracker.
Yes. It is a
Honest.
problem though, like you said, because like this industry has just exploded in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
We've unfortunately had to we've worked with people that was working like 3 or 4 jobs at the same time.
Mm.
But I don't even
Wow.
see that as you're not even winning if you do that. That's just a really stressful existence. That's not
Yes,
worth
yeah.
it. And it's very short-sighted in my opinion because focus is very important. And then you have other things going on in your life, like you have kids and
Yeah.
family and your hobbies, so forth, right? The other
Yeah.
reason I don't time tracker is just you're just incentivizing people to work slower. We also do have we just switched back over to MaxiCare, so we do have a HMO plan that
Oh,
covers dependents and things like
okay.
that. So if you're interested, you can talk to them about it. We were with MaxiCare, then due to miscommunication, went to PhilCare, and now we're back to MaxiCare. So you
Yeah.
are covered for sure, and then I think it's 50% for one dependent, and there's some clauses and some things you can add more dependents if you want.
Oh, that's good to hear. Although I do have MaxiCare for my husband's job,
Yeah,
but still,
you can
still,
double up, right?
right?
But you can take
Yeah,
2 hospital rooms for fun.
I know. I
Yeah.
can have all my dental cleanings done.
But listen,
Yep.
thank you so much for your time, and Gray will be in touch with next steps. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Have a
So
good
take
night.
care. You
Okay.
too.
Sama. Bye.
Bye.